You pull your coat tighter as the coach wheels vanish into the wet dust behind you, leaving nothing but the hiss of rain and a house that looks as though it has been waiting for this moment longer than you have been alive. The iron gate groans, almost greeting you by name, and you pause because you cannot remember whether it truly spoke or whether your own thoughts have taken on a voice of their own. Either way, you cross the threshold, boots sinking into mud that swallows each step as if the earth itself hopes you will not change your mind. Inside, the manor exhales the scent of damp velvet and extinguished candles. You whisper, "Hello," though no one is meant to hear you. Yet echoes rise from the dark corridor ahead, curling around your words and repeating them back in a half-tone murmur. You tell yourself it is only acoustics. You tell yourself many things on this night, and every reassurance floats away like smoke the moment it forms. You light a candle, the flame trembling on the wick, and its glow strokes the portraits of ancestors you tried to forget. Their painted eyes gleam with secret knowledge, or perhaps accusation. You find it oddly polite to nod at each one, as though you are late to a gathering and must excuse your absence. Thunder rattles the panes. Somewhere above, the ceiling sighs. The house remembers you even if you cannot fully remember yourself. You came here to write again, or so you claim in letters you never send. The critics called your last volume a fever that could not cool. They were kinder than you deserved. Ink had turned to blood beneath your pen, and the lines no longer obeyed your intentions. How convenient, then, that an invitation from the family solicitor arrived, urging you to claim what was left of the estate. How convenient that failure found a refuge in ruin. You make for the study at the end of the hall. Dust lies thick on an oak desk, but there is fresh parchment placed precisely at its center, as if someone knew you would sit here tonight. Your candle's flame stretches tall, exposing faint claw marks on the desktop. Your pulse skips a beat. You do not own a pet. You have never trusted animals. Still, the scratches form something almost legible. A name, a plea. You blink, and the grooves appear innocent again, mere accidents of age. A whisper stirs in the corridor behind you. You turn too quickly, knocking the candle to the floor. Darkness roars up like a storm cloud, yet the whisper grows clearer. "Downstairs," it says, in a voice you once used to recite lullabies to yourself. Downstairs. You are certain the voice belongs to memory, not madness, though the difference dwindles. You retrieve the candle, relight it, and find the courage you lost somewhere between childhood prayers and last night's brandy. The stairway to the cellar yawns open beneath a tapestry that has slipped its hooks. You did not move it, did you? The steps creak under your weight, and each groan seems to ask why you have returned at all. The cellar air tastes of iron and secrets. Shelves of rotted fruit jars line the walls, their labels smudged by time. Moisture drips from the ceiling in steady beats, like a metronome counting down. You follow the rhythm to a stone arch choked by ivy. Beyond it lies a metal door sealed by tarnished chains. Again, the whisper, closer now, more insistent. You reach for the lock, hand trembling, and as your fingers brush the cold metal, visions flare behind your eyes. You once stood here as a child, candle in one hand, a book of poems in the other. Your mother's voice echoed, promising that certain doors remain closed for good reason. But childhood warnings are no match for the gravity of unanswered questions. You find an old hammer on a nearby shelf. Each strike against the chain rings like a cracked bell. On the third blow, the links surrender. The door swings inward with a sigh that might be relief, might be regret. The crypt within is narrow, its walls draped in crushed velvet as dark as extinguished stars. Candles burn in iron sconces, though no one has been here in decades. You try to convince yourself the wax is illusion, the flames some trick of reflected light, but the warmth on your face disproves you. At the far end, a single marble sarcophagus rests upon a dais. Your surname is carved across the lid, followed by a first name you share. The sight steals your breath, as though the coffin has inhaled for you. A prank from a long-dead relative, a monument to vanity? Neither explanation settles your hammering heart. You circle the sarcophagus, fingertips brushing its cold surface. Lines of verse are etched along the base, fragments of poems you have not yet written. You read them aloud, voice trembling, and realize they describe moments that have not happened, or perhaps are happening now. One line speaks of a night drenched in storm, a poet blinded by guilt, a confession waiting in velvet gloom. Then the whisper solidifies into a human voice behind you. You spin around, candle lifted. Your mother stands there, or rather, something that wears her smile like a cracked mask. She has not aged a day since the fever took her, yet her eyes are two hollow wounds, and through them you glimpse flickers of the void you wrote about, but never truly believed. You should have left it closed, she says. Her tone is gentle, almost affectionate. You shake your head, words refusing to form. She drifts closer. The candlelight passes through her, as if she were woven from the smoke that fills old chambers. She tells you the family's secret. Every poet born to this line writes only on borrowed time, siphoning life from an ancestor who wrote before. Your first book was stolen breath. Your second was a theft too far. The debt must be paid. The coffin behind you is not empty, she whispers. It waits for the poet who thought he could outrun lineage. You retreat, but the velvet drapes coil around your wrists like living ribbons. Panic floods you. You deny her words. You claim the right to your own voice. Yet even as you protest, memories rearrange themselves. That night, you collapsed in fever. You remember a dream of signing a pact in crimson ink. You thought it fever's hallucination. Now you see the parchment on the sarcophagus lid bearing your name twice, once as debtor, once as payment. The drapes tighten. Your candle falls, snuffing out against the stone. Darkness hugs you close. In its embrace you hear quills scratching, pages turning, ancestors murmuring verses that taste like grave soil. You feel the pull of the marble lid behind you. Feel it slide aside though no hand touches it. Cold air rushes from the opening, smelling of wilted roses and unfinished stanzas. You scream without sound as invisible hands guide you backward. Yet even now some stubborn shard of ego asks, "Will the world remember my words?" A chorus replies, "It will remember the silence that followed." The crypt seals. The velvet curtains return to stillness. The cellar door drifts shut. Chains reweave themselves as though time flows backward just to bar the way. Outside, the storm eases. Dawn spreads uncertain light over the manor. In the study upstairs, a fresh stack of parchment waits. A quill rises on its own, dips into ink, and begins to write in your hand. The words glide across the page with unsettling grace, each line more beautiful than the last. Somewhere beneath the floorboards, in velvet darkness, you lie utterly still, your final poem already stolen by the next whisper in line. So now, listener, you stand at the edge of this tale with one question echoing louder than thunder. When inspiration calls, whose voice answers? You will remember this the next time words spill too easily and silence costs you nothing. Keep the candle lit. Listen closely to the hush between heartbeats and ask yourself before you write the next line, what price might be waiting in your own velvet crypt?